Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to review a film that some are calling the best movie of the year. And I've even already heard people take it a step further and call it one of the greatest movies of all time. Kind of enormous praise for a movie that's been out for a day as of the recording of this video. So now the question is the hype real, or is all of this praise based around the idea that the ideology presented in this movie is validating some people so they feel the need to give it a high score? Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
So, pretty please, with sugar on top. Clean the car.
Bob is a washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stoned paranoia, surviving off the grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter, Willa. When his evil nemesis resurfaces and Willa goes missing, the former radical scrambles to find her as both father and daughter battle the consequences of their past. Okay, I'm not going to waste any time here and immediately address the elephant in the room when it comes to this film, because I already see some people weaponizing this film, which is not uncommon when you're talking about the politically obsessed nature of modern society. In today's society, everyone is looking for something to hate, or they're looking for something to validate their ideas. And while one battle after another is in fact overt and heavy-handed with its messaging, it's oftentimes done in such an outrageous way that it comes off more like satire than anything. Satire meaning I took it to be a bit more harmless than the typical overt messaging we tend to get.
Message!
Now, of course, this isn't going to stop some people from getting offended by some of the messaging in this film. It does hit a lot of hot-button topics. It's the nature of the beast when it comes to human beings, so in that aspect, this film is definitely not for everyone. I do think that it is left-leaning politically in a lot of its ideology. This movie is very obviously trying to put modern America under a microscope, and as Leo himself said, it mirrors today's society. But I'd be lying to you if I said it was not addressing some of these ideas through a certain filter. At the same time, there are moments throughout the film where it seems to be poking fun at the hypersensitivity of the extreme left. At the same time, they are presenting these satirical caricatures of people on the right as well. And at the end of the day, my takeaway from the film, as far as its political ideology goes, which is something I don't really like to talk about, but it is necessary for this movie. But my takeaway is that extremism on either side of the aisle is not beneficial to anyone, specifically people who are directly involved with it.
That makes sense.
Now, I don't know if that's the message that they wanted me to take away from this movie, but that is what I got from it. It's not as if the radicals or the revolutionaries in this film are portrayed as 100% virtuous in their actions. Tiana Taylor plays Leo's love interest and lead revolutionary, and while her performance was great, I found her character to be completely unlikable in every way. I know there's going to be people out there who feel empowered by this character for whatever reason, but to me, her story was a cautionary story about getting caught up in this type of thinking and what it could ultimately cost you, meaning family. Remember when everybody got upset with Alex Garland's Civil War for not taking a side politically, which is something that I actually loved about it? Well, it does feel like one battle after another is taking a side politically, which could explain why it's getting better reviews. But honestly, watching it for myself, I do not think that it is as cut and dry as some people are making it out to be. It's a rare instance where a heavy-handed approach, while still somewhat simplistic in its delivery, it still offers the audience an opportunity to actually think about what they are seeing and what they are supposed to take from it.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
At the end of the day, the political stuff, while not typically what I want from a cinematic experience, wasn't enough to distract me from the fact that I was watching a well-made movie. If what you are looking for is quality filmmaking and you can look past some of the ideology, then I think One Battle After Another is the type of movie that is for you. I'm going to be honest, I've never been a big Paul Thomas Anderson guy. PTA to the cinephiles out there. I respect his work as an artist, and I recognize him as a quality filmmaker. I'll never take that away from him. But his films, for whatever reason, at least the ones I've seen, have never really connected with me on a personal level like they have with some other people. That being said, I think One Battle After Another has a lot to offer as it pertains to how this story is being presented to us visually. The camera work in this film is beautifully chaotic, even frantic at times, which I think was very intentionally used to put you in the same headspace as some of the characters in the film. It just very much feels like this movie is in a constant state of motion. There's just not a lot of time to catch your breath as the movie is moving into the next phase of what it's trying to tell you.
Take it down a notch.
One of my absolute favorite scenes in the movie, strangely enough, is an unconventional car chase. A car chase that kind of sets up its own finale with its camera work in a way that I don't think that I've ever seen before. I also have to give a lot of credit to the score, which just so happens to be one of the more unique scores that I've heard for a film in some time. The score actually complements the very weird tone of this movie quite well. It's simultaneously used to build tension while also complementing the more comedic side of some of the events going on. More than anything else, the theme that spoke to me most in this movie was its theme of family. The father-daughter dynamic in this film gives the film a shot of heart, especially in the later stages of the movie, that I honestly wasn't expecting based on how the movie started out. Those interpersonal relationships are always going to help a story resonate with the audience so much better.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
And none of that would be possible without some great performances from Chase Infinity and, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio. As far as Chase Infinity goes, this is her first feature film role, which is quite impressive when you think about it, because she brilliantly captures both the naive innocence as well as the warrior spirit of her character that makes her character stand out. As far as Leo goes, what more can be said about him that hasn't been said before? He is probably the greatest living actor that we have because nobody takes their craft more seriously than he does. And his performance in this film is no exception to that. And make no mistake about it, this is a very different kind of role than we are used to seeing him play. He's kind of schlubby, he's kind of a f*** up, but Leo makes you buy into it because that's what his job is as an actor. His character, Bob, is surprisingly comedic, and even more surprisingly, very effectively so. If he's not keeping you entertained with Bob's panicked state when shit is hitting the fan, he's instead keeping you entertained going on profanity-laced tirades directed at some freak, as he calls them, who is in desperate need of a safe space. For a revolutionary with the ideology that his character is supposed to have, he is surprisingly based at times throughout the course of this film, once again showing us that extremism isn't always the norm. Another great performance from DiCaprio in a movie that is sure to get a lot of attention come award season. We also have Sean Penn, who plays a sex-craved colonel who is hot on the trails of the revolutionaries. Another weirdly great performance with a character that has enough quirks that you are never really sure what he is going to do next. He is a wild card character in every sense of the word. I mean, the movie basically begins with him pleasuring himself while being held at gunpoint. Not what I expected when I first sat down to watch this, but here we are.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
It's even wilder that that moment actually plays a pivotal role in how the entire plot of this film rolls out. The only way that I can truly describe this movie from a tonal aspect is weird. It's actually wonderfully weird in some spots, and a little bit too weird in other spots for my liking. This is a unique film that is showing us tropes that we've seen before, but doing so in a very unique way. There's a pretty big twist in the film as well, a twist that I called about halfway through the movie, so take that for what it is. Bottom line, I did not like One Battle After Another as much as I wanted to. It's not as perfect for me as it is for some people. But even so, I cannot deny that there is a lot to be admired here from a filmmaking perspective, and there is a lot to be discussed as it pertains to the film's messaging. I think the movie shines in its performances and in its direction. Part of me wishes that it wasn't so on the nose politically with its commentary on modern hot-button issues, but that's just a personal preference as someone who currently values escapism over modern social commentary. it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a well-made movie that will probably please cinephiles, but could potentially turn casuals away. One battle after another is the rare instance where we have a movie that is of quality but really didn't connect with me on a deeper level. Still, I'm willing to look past my own preferences and give this film credit for its filmmaking, so in that aspect I'm going to be giving it the Pleased Palpatine.
Good.
Y'all be cool. Right on.